ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 8, Verse number 17. This is continuation of teachings of Avadhut. He is explaining what he has learned from his various gurus. So we read about the duties of sannyasi, how he should not accumulate, otherwise like a honeybee it will be taken away by somebody. And then talk about elephant. So he's talking about the various senses, how one can fall into trouble if one is attached to sense of sight, sense of touch. Then he will talk about sense of hearing. Next, So in this says Gramya Geetam Nishrunuyad Yatir Vancharah Kvachit Shiksheta Harinad Baddhat Mrigyor Gita Mohitat. So it says that a Vanachara means a sannyasi who lives in the forest, or a Vanprastha Yati. Yati means sannyasi. So he should not listen to materialistic music, Gramya Geetam. This, he says, he learned from a deer. How deer get caught by a hunter through music. So it seems that deer likes music, and if you play the music, then he comes near you, and then the hunter catches him and kills him. So music can also be troublesome, become attached to it. So he says, Prakrita Gan Madhurya Asaktir Anarth Heturiti Harinath Shikshitamaha. So he says that the materialistic singing and attachment to that can be the cause of trouble, anartha, cause of problem. This he learned from the deer. Gramya Geetam iti tena Bhagavad Geetam Shunyadev. So he says, because here it says Gramya Geetam. So the word Gramya comes from the noun Grama. So literally it means that which is belongs to a village. But here it is used in the sense of means which is not very refined. It's like they also say Gramya Katha. So it is mostly used in the sense of materialistic things, whether it is story, song, talk, anything. So he says because the adjective Gramya is used with the Geetam, so that means he is not saying that you should not hear any song. So therefore he says Bhagavad Geetam to Shunyadeva. So you can hear songs in relationship with Bhagavan, music related with Bhagavan, Kirtan. So he says that one should listen. Nityavaditra Gitani Jushan Gramyani Yoshitam Asham Kridanako Vashya Risya Shringo Mrigisutta. So he is giving example of one boy who was son of sage Vibhandaka. So his name was Shringi, Risya Shring or Shringi Rishi. How he became infatuated by the song, dance and music of women. And then he became like a toy in their hands, became controlled by them. So this is a story in Mahabharata that this Vibhandak Rishi, he was living in the forest by himself. He was not married. So how he got a son if he was not married? So he got the son, and it says here Mrigi Sutta, from a female deer. So once he was taking bath in the river and some Apsara came there, and by seeing her beauty he became excited and he lost his semen. Then that time when deer came, she drank that and became pregnant, and the boy was born. Very unbelievable story. So then this boy, because he was born from the deer, he was a human being, but he had a horn on his head, because he is a Varnasankar. So although a human child, but with a horn, that's why he is called Shringi. Shringa means horn. So he has this Sringi means Nini in Matopartha, one who has a horn on his head. So here because he lived in the forest and his father was very careful that he should not see any woman because he had trouble himself. So he protected this boy very much from women. So this boy has never seen what is a woman. He only saw some sages who came to visit him or animals in the forest. And at that time there was a king, and in his kingdom there was no rain for a long time. So then somebody said that if you can call this boy and he does yajna, then rains will come. But the problem was how to get him to the city. So he asked people that anybody who can bring him here. So some people tried, but there was no possibility because why should he come? So then some females, some ladies who were like Vaishyas in the court, they said that we will bring her. So he made them an arrangement. They said, give us a boat, make this boat like a small house with facility for food, etc. And then we will bring. So they went, there was a river flowing through that forest, so they took the boat, went up and parked the boat on the bank of the river. And then these girls, young girls, they dressed as boys. And then they observed the movement of the sage Vibhandaka, the father. So they saw that every morning after he has done his morning yajna, etc., then he would go to the forest to get some food for himself or the young boy. And he will come after a few hours. So then they realized that this is the chance to catch the boy. So then they went to his ashram and the father was not there. And they dressed like young boys. So he saw them and he was very happy to see some boys. In his life he was alone. So he asked them, where are you? He said, we also live nearby. Our ashram is there. And we just wanted to see you. And they started playing and they had nice food, chocolate. So the boy has never eaten chocolate. So when he ate the chocolate, he says, wow, what is this? It's so wonderful. He was always eating some roots and some quinoa, something which was growing in the forest, that summer rice. So he was very fascinated. Then before they said, okay, now we have to go because we have to do our puja, our yajna. But before leaving, they embraced him. And when he embraced them, he felt their body very soft. So he was very much attracted to that. Then they disappeared. Then when the father came, the boy, generally he was supposed to sit down and meditate. But he was not meditating because his meditation was on something else now. So he was only thinking about these young boys and when can I meet, because they said we'll come tomorrow also and wait for us. So he was only thinking about them. He did not know that they are women he didn't know what a woman is. So then father thought what happened to the son and he said, what is wrong? He says, nothing. He says, did somebody come here? He says, some Muni Putras came, some sons of the sages. He says, who came? There is nobody here. He says, yeah, there are 2-3 boys who came here. So he believed and he says, what did they do? He says, we just played and we ate something. So he said, be careful with them. So next day when he left, they came again and then they again played. But now they said, you want to come and see our ashram? And he said, yes. So they lured him and they put him in the boat, and he says, we'll go to our ashram by the boat. And they brought him to the city. So this is what is being described here. Nritya vaditra gitani jusan grammyani yoshitam. So he engaged in dancing, singing, listening to the music of women and became controlled by them like a toy. So prakrit rasa saktir anarth heturiti gramya gita saktir udaharanamaya nityati. So there is not much comment. It says that just an example how hearing materialistic music can be cause a problem. Jivayati pramathinya janoras vimohita mrityurmrichatya sadbuddhirminastu badishairiyatha. So then the next one is the sense of taste. So he spoke about sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of hearing, and sense of smell, about the honeybee. So now the next one is the taste. So he says that Jivya ati pramathinya jano ras vimohita mrityum richati sadbuddhi. He says that tongue, which is attracted to enjoying nice taste, agitates the mind completely. Pramathini. So just like Arjuna said earlier, Pramathi Balvadradham. In Bhagavad Gita it says that this mind is Pramathi, very powerful. So here also same word used, Pramathinya. And he says that being bewildered by the sense of taste, person who does not have his or her mind in control, then he attains death, mrityum, which he attains death. And the example is of the fish. So minastu badisairyatha, just as a fish, she becomes attracted to the food which the people who catch fish, they put some food on the hook, and the fish goes and tries to eat it and gets stuck there. So like that, people also become attached to the food and meet their death. So this is sense of taste. Prakrita rasasakti ranarth heturiti meenat shikshitamaha jivyayati. So attachment to the material taste means the cause of destruction. This he learned from the fish, and that is being described here in this verse. Badishair amis liptai. Badish is the hook of the fisherman, and it's not just the fish hook, but hook which is covered by some food, badish. So he got caught by that. Now he speaks 2 verses about the importance of controlling the tongue. So he says how it is most difficult to control. You can control other senses, but controlling tongue is more difficult. So he says, Indriyani jayanti ashu nirahara manishinaha varjitvatu rasnam tan niranyasya vardhate. So Avadhut says that if you don't give the food to a particular sense, then you can control that sense. So Visyavini vartante niraharasya dehina. So if you don't give something to smell, then what nose is going to do? It's not going to do anything. If you don't get music to listen, what? Nothing. But if you don't get food to taste, then you're troubled. Let's go to 11 flowers. No, the Murli wala now. 11 flower is old news. So he says that every sense out of the five senses, if you don't give them their object, you can control them except for tongue. He says if you don't give the tongue what it wants, then it becomes more powerful. So this is what he says, nirannasya vardhate rasnam varjitvatu rasnam, except for the tongue, which becomes more powerful if you don't give it. If you stop eating sweets, the desire to eat sweet increases. So this is the tongue problem. So that is being described here. Tadevam rupa gandha sparsha sabda rasair panchabhir vishayai patanga madhukara gaja harin meena pancha mohita hata. So he says in this way, the five beings, that is moth, honeybee, elephant, deer and fish. So they become bewildered by the five things. By beauty is the moth, smell is the honeybee, touch is the elephant, sound is the deer, taste is the fish. And being bewildered by these respective sense objects, they meet their death. Taduktam, so there is a sloka to this regard. Patanga matanga kuranga bhinga bhringa meena hata panch bhireva pancha ekah pramadi sa katham nahanyate yasevate pancha bhireva pancha. So this sloka is saying that all these five, moth, elephant, deer, honeybee and fish, how they lose their life being attracted to one of the sense objects. So he says how a human being who is attracted to all five will not meet his destruction. If they are getting destroyed just by one sense object, then what is the chance for a human being who is attracted to all five? So that's why he is saying Panchbhiraya Panchayati Kintu Indriyanam Vritti Pradam Rasnendriyam eva anarthakari iti atas jaya prayatnam kurvita ityaha. So he says among these five vritti, five senses which make five vrittis, the most difficult one and most trouble one and cause of problem is the tongue. So therefore one should try to control that. That is being described in two slokas here. Indriyani iti dvabhyam. Ayam bhavaha. The meaning is this. Yadi aharas tyajate tarhi anya indriya jaya kevalam bhavati rasnendriya tu vardhate. So he says that if you do not supply the sense object to the other senses, then you can conquer over them. But with the tongue, that technique does not work. Yadi tu bhujyate tarhi punah rasasaktiya sarvendriya kshobhe syat tasmad rasnendriya jo jetavyam. So he says that the problem with the tongue is this. If you don't supply it what it wants, it will keep on troubling you. If you supply it, it will become attached to it, and then it will disturb every other sense also, because then you will get energy. If you don't eat, then even your mind will become weak. You cannot think much. Body loses energy, right? So when you are hungry, you're hungry, somebody says, oh, listen to nice music, forget about eating. Will you agree to that? Watch this movie. You can eat after 3 hours. So anything. So he says, you are not given food, all other senses become weak. They just lose their power to trouble you. Except for the tongue, which will keep on troubling you. Get food, do something. Then if you give it, then not only that the tongue itself becomes attached, it also gives energy to all other senses. Now you will say, okay, where is that music? Now I can listen to it. What movie were you talking about? So he says, therefore tongue is very difficult to control. If you supply it, problem. If you don't supply it, there is a problem. So therefore he says that you have to make effort to control your tongue. If you can control tongue, you can control everything else. If you have not controlled tongue, you have not controlled anything. That is what it says in the next sloka. So one who has control over senses is called Jitendriya. You might have heard this name Jitendra. So Jitendra means, of course Jitendra means one who has conquered Indra. But actually Jitendriya is the word. So one who has conquered over one's own senses is called Jitendriya. So he says, Tavat Jitendriyo na syat vijit anya indriya puman na jayed rasnam yavat jitam sarvam jiterase. He says a person cannot be called conqueror of his senses, even if he has conquered all other senses but have not conquered the sense of taste. Then is not a Jitendriya. But one who has conquered over the sense of taste has conquered all the other senses. So now you can think about how much you like chocolate or gelato or whatever. So that much control you have over your sense of eating.
But it seems, maybe I'm just rationalizing, but it seems that the tongue is also difficult because sometimes it's just hunger. We are hungry, so we need to satisfy the hunger, which includes obviously the tongue also.
You have the right to satisfy hunger, but not the tonguer. So you are hungry and tungry. They are two separate things. So you have the right to eat, but not to worship the tongue.
So then, it's to see the food as nourishment and not as enjoyment finally.
Yes, food does two things. Does more than two things, but present consider only two. One is nourishing, other is giving pleasure. So now we have to see whether I am eating because I need nourishment or I am eating because I want pleasure. Pleasure will come, but pleasure is a side effect, or is it the main goal? So when you are eating, when actually you don't have hunger but you just like to eat, which people do that, right? And it is only human beings who do that. Animals, they eat only as much as they need, after that they stop. But human beings go on eating. So most people are sick not because they don't have food, but they are overeating. So overeating is a big problem in human beings. Yes, no? And this overeating creates a lot of problem. And why we overeat? Because of the rasa. So therefore, tongue is called rasna. We have other rasa, bhakti rasa, dasya rasa, sakhya rasa, but this is the rasa which everybody has. The most fundamental rasa is the food rasa. These other 12 rasas which Rupa Goswami talks about, they come later. This is the primary rasa, mukhya rasa. Okay, Bhushan.
Babaji, I was wondering if conquering this.
Why people drink Coke or Pepsi? Is it for nourishment?
People drink water also.
No, they don't drink water. They drink this. So you have to think every time you eat or drink that why am I drinking this? Is chocolate for nourishment or for taste?
Taste.
Ice cream? So there are so many things. And now in this 21st century is the ultimate in food. Because now you can order food at your home. Previously even the king could not do that. Now an ordinary person can eat what kings could not eat previously. Because now kings would eat what was locally available in those days, But now you can order Chinese, Mexican, Korean, Spanish, Italian, French, any food. And it will be delivered at your gate at any time. And if you go to restaurant, hotel, supermarket, food, so much food. So how can you control the tongue? So the modern life is against any jitendriya. Okay.
Babaji, I was wondering that this tongue has raga for this sweetness or other tastes. Does it mean that one has conquered the tongue if, let's say, one always eat bitter things or things which are not very, or bland things? Would that be considered to be gone beyond the, like if one eats bitter things and sweet things with equal relish, would that be considered to be gone beyond the sense of taste?
No, it's not.
Control over the sense of taste.
The control is that you eat only as much as needed. It's not a question of bitter. You can also start enjoying bitter. It's no problem, Karela is also very nice. If you have a chapati with Karela sabji and buttermilk, there is no combination like that. You can overeat that also. Krishnadas.
Yes, Babaji. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to do one question related to the music part, because now it's very famous this bhajan clubbing, or try to transform a materialistic song into a devotional one, or include the names of God in music arrangements. So I wanted to know what is your opinion about that, because we know Nirvana Krishna Sambandha from one side, but probably the mind is not meditating in Krishna's name as is meditated in the melody, let's say. So,
Well, better than Gramya Geet, at least better than other clubbing. Bhajan clubbing is better. At least some thought of some name of Krishna is entering your ears. And then one day you may become more serious about it. So therefore he says, Tasmat tathas rasnendriya jetavyam. So he says, therefore you should make effort to conquer over your tongue. Yatha tadanuvartini anyani api indriyani jitani syu. Why? Because if you can control your tongue, then all other senses will become controlled. That is the thing. So this is most difficult. Tadrusho rasnendriyasya jayastu rasnaya eva parimit mahaprasad matra bhojanena. So he says, how you control it? So he says, this will be controlled rasnendriya jayastu rasnaya eva. So only by giving taste to it, but only in the controlled. Like he says that parimit mahaprasad matra bhojanena. That eat only mahaprasad. But mahaprasad also you can have feast. So therefore it says parimita, that in limited quantity. Means whatever is enough for you, whatever you can digest. Like according to Ayurveda, they say that you have to leave little bit of space in your stomach. So fill half with the food, 1/4 with the liquid, 1/4 for air. That's what they call as mitahar. So mitbhuk, hitbhuk, nitbhuk. That is the formula. So mitbhuk means eat limited quantity. Hitbhuk means eat what is salubrious for you, not unnecessary things. And nitbhuk means eat regularly, at regular time, not midnight. So that is the formula for eating. So parimit mahaprasad matra bhojanena va rasnavarti vagindriyena bhagavad uccha nama kirtan rasaswadad va bhavet. And then another one he says is that is another thing. Our tongue is doing two functions. It is one, but it is karmendriya and it is jnanendriya both. So it is tastes, it also speaks. So it has double power. So one sense, but double the power. So that's for controlling your speech. It's also difficult. Some people talk a lot. They eat a lot, they also talk a lot. So he says you control food by eating mahaprasad and control talking by doing japa, doing kirtan. So utilize your energy of speech in that. So Bhagavad Uccha Nama Kirtan Rasaswad. So enjoy the rasa of Mahaprasad and rasa of Kirtan rasa. So yaduktam rasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So visya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. That Vishya, they become controlled if you don't supply them, except for the tongue. But the tongue also you can control by having experience of the Supreme. So that is about the sense of taste. Now he tells another story of another guru called Pingala. So Pingala was a prostitute in Videhanagar. And from that Pingala he learned how not to have desires, expectations. You have material desires, you have problems. So to avoid that. So it says Pingala nam Veshya asit Videhanagare pura tasyame sikshitam kinchit nibodha nripanandana. So he says that, O king, listen to me. what I have learned from a prostitute called Pingala, who lived in the city of Videha. So Pingala, sometimes the name is described, Pinga means yellowish color, which means gold. So Pingala means one who likes gold, only after wealth. So that is Pingala. Sa swarini ekada kantam sankete upaneshyati abhuta kale bahirdwari bibhrati rupamuttamam. So their working times are different. Normal people, their working hours daytime. Prostitutes, their working hours are at night. So therefore he says that one night she was standing Bahirdwari at her gate. She was dressed very nicely because that's how they attract their customer. Rupa Muttamam Bibhrati Abhut Kale. And she was searching for a customer. So Sanket means signal. So trying to invite them and bring them to her place. So that's what she was engaged in. So Pinglaya Nairashyam Sikshitam iti tadupakyanamaha Pingla. So Pingla's story teaches how she became hopeless, and then becoming hopeless she learned some lesson about life. Sanketa Rathistane. Sanketa means the place where she wants to meet them. Upneshyati swasamipam anishyati. So by that she wants to bring them next to her. Anetum ityartha. And then marga agachato viksha purushan purushashva tan shulk dan vittavatah kantan mene artha kamuka. So whoever was passing by there, then she will look at them and then she will start thinking, oh, this person has money, he will come. So tan shulk dan. Shulk means the payment which they make, vittavata kantan mene. Why? Because she was artha kamuka. She was very desirous of money. And this was her profession, to make money like that. So Sulkadan Mulyam Dattva Srutagranina. Sulkadan means those who pay to her for enjoying her body. Agateshu apayateshu sa sanketo upajivani api anyo vittavan kopi mam upashyati bhuridha. So then somebody is coming, but he is not coming to her, he is going away, then she will lose hope. So agatesu apayatesu, coming and going. So she who lived by the sanketa means calling them, api anyo vittavan kopi, then she will think, oh, now someone else will come, and he will come, mam upashyati bhurida, he will come near me and give me sufficient wealth. So that's what she was thinking in her mind. Evam durashaya dhvasta nidra dwari avalambati nirgachanti pravishati nishitham samapadyata. So that night what happened, that she had this hope against hope, but her hope was not fulfilled. So she was lurking around her gate, sometimes going in, sometimes coming out. She was very anxious, but nobody came. And waiting and waiting and waiting, it became midnight and still no customer arrived. So she became very frustrated and hopeless. So Nishitham Ardharatram. Nishitha means midnight. Tasya vittashaya shusyad vaktraya dīna chetasah nirveda parmo jagye chinta hetu sukhavah. So she had a big hope for making money, but she was not successful. So her face, her mouth was dried up, Sushyad Vaktraya, and she felt very dejected in her heart, Dina Chetasa, and Nirvedo Parmo Jagye. So she became very, very unhappy and disenchanted with this whole affair, that what am I doing this? And Chinta Hetu Sukhava. So this Chinta means this anxiety for money itself became the cause of her renunciation or dispassion. So just like if you break a pot, so what is the cause of breaking the pot? Pot. If you ask anybody, he'll say, oh, the cause of breaking the pot is some stick or something. So that is okay. But the pot itself is the cause of breaking the pot, because if pot is not there, how will you break it? So therefore this anxiety became the cause of renunciation for her. So he said, Chinta hetu sukhavah. And she felt happy. So the anxiety gave her happiness. So, with chinta eva hetur yasya sa. So, what was the chinta? What was the anxiety? Anxiety for money. So, nirvedaha chinta hetu. The nirveda means to becoming dispassionate, detached. And that was caused by the anxiety for money. So, generally, anxiety for money doesn't make you dispassionate. But in this particular case it happened. So that's very rare. If somebody is needing money and he is having anxiety, he is not going to become a sannyasi. He remains absorbed how to get money, more money. But in this particular case it happened like that. And when she became nirvana, dejected, depressed, lost interest in all this, then she sang a song out of happiness. So tasya nirvinna chittaya Geetam shunu yatha mama nirveda asa pashanam purushasya yatha hiyasi. So he says that when her mind became nirvana, means this dejected from this, disinterested, then she sang a song, and you listen that from me. It says nirveda asa pashanam purushasya hi yathasi. So he says that this nirveda means becoming disinterested. So he says this nirveda is the sword for cutting the rope of the hope. So everybody is bound with the hope rope. And when you lose hope, then the rope is cut. Then you become devotee. So many people come to devotional life because they lose hope in the material world, right? So then they come here. Hare ko harinam. So hare means losing hope. Then you take harinam. Marta kya na karta. So she is also like that. But her vairagya is real. Sometimes she also have fleeting vairagya, samsan vairagya. Little bit. That there is a utthit Vairagya and Uthapya Vairagya. One is the Vairagya created by preaching. Other is the Vairagya which comes from within. So her Vairagya is not because somebody preached to her. So therefore this will be stable. When you get Vairagya by preaching, that after some time it's like you heat water, turn off the stove, becomes cool. So you have to keep the light every day, you have to preach. Unless you develop heat yourself. So he says, Asha Pashanam. Pasha means rope, Asha means hope. So Asha Pash, as his sword, cuts that. So, Yatha Mama Yathavan Matta. So the Sasti Vibhakti is used Mama, it should be fifth Matta. Listen from me. Asha eva samsar bandhasya pashaha syu. So he says this hope. What is the hope? Hope is that I will become happy one day. This is the hope which is keeping everybody tied here in the material world. Everybody has got some hope that tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 10 days, 1 week, after I get my degree from the college, right? So this hope is there, and we keep on hanging to the hope. And this is the sansar bandhan. The knot which is tying us to the material world is the hope. If you don't have hope, then either you take to spiritual life or you commit suicide. Only two things. Isn't it? What else will you do?
Babaji, here I was wondering, her anxiety caused Vairagya, or she became hopeless and it caused Vairagya?
Yeah, because anxiety, and then there is a limit for everything.
Yeah.
If you keep on going to east, you'll end up west.
Okay, so that is what, she's very anxious and then she loses hope and then Vairagya.
Yeah, sometimes people do that. They have a lot of hope, it doesn't get fulfilled. Then they drop it, it says forget it. So therefore he says, Asha eva samsar bandhasya pashahasyu tasam chedne nirveda eva asir bhavet. So this nirveda is the asi. So many times you see the spiritual life begins with nirveda. That's why first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is also called Vishad Yoga. Arjuna, if he did not have Vishada, Nirveda is same as Nirvada, then he will not ask Krishna. He would fight like anyone else, Bhima, Yudhishthira Maharaj. They did not have Nirveda, they fought. So because he had this Nirveda or Vishada, so then Gita came out. So that's why it says that it happens like that. Not to everybody, but sometimes people just start taking drugs, if nothing else. So nahi angajata nirvedo deha bandham jihasati yatha vijnana rahito manujo mamtam nirpa. So he says that unless you have nirveda, unless you develop some vairagya, some dispassion, detachment, lack of interest in material life, then it is not possible that you can give up the bondage to this body. Bondage to body, bondage to material world, bondage to material things. You will not give up unless some sense of detachment arises. That's why in the first instruction which Krishna is giving to Uddhava is about detachment only. This whole dialogue of Avdhuta with King Yadu is basically trying to instill vairagya. That's why he's used so many times the word yati, muni, rishi, like that. So he says it is not possible to give up this bondage. He said just like if you do not have knowledge, people say why we have to study Shastra, why not just do japa? So he says that we will not be able to give up this mamata in the material things unless we have Vigyan. So it says Vigyan rahito manujo mamtam nripa yatha na jihasati. So everybody has got mamatva. Mamatva means sense of possession, myness in the body, I and my. And that is the samsara. That is the material world, that is the bondage. So this is not going to go away unless somebody has Vigyan. So Vigyan means some experience. There is Gyan, Gyan Vigyan Sahitam Vakshyami Avashesata. This verse is coming in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, I will teach to you Gyan along with Vigyan. So not only that we have to have theoretical knowledge, we also have to have some experience. That's why I said Rasovarjam Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Param Drishtva means having an experience. Drishteva Atmani Ishvare. Chidyate Hridagranti Vidyante Sarvasamsya Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishtva Eva Atmani Ishvare. Drishtva means experiencing. So when experience is there, then there is no more samsaya, doubt. Is it like this or is it like that? All your doubts are gone. Where is the question of doubt now when you have experienced it yourself? Then you don't need any praman from Shastra, praman from this, praman from that. You have the best praman, experience. So therefore he says that Vijnana Rahito Manujo Mamatam Nripa. So this mamata, this attachment will not go away otherwise. So yeah, Samipe, where is that? Tasya eva upadayatvam aha nahi iti. There is not any commentary. Says he is explaining the utility of this nirveda, this detachment. So now this is the song which Pingla sang. Pingla uvacha. Aho me moha vitatim pashyata avijitatmanah ya kanta dasataha kamam kamaye yena balisha. So this is something very important. Unless one comes to realize that how stupid I am engaged in the material world, then one is not going to give up. If we think we are smart being in the material world, why would you come to spiritual life? So she is saying that I am balisha, means I am childish, foolish. Why? That just see how much of my delusion is spread all around. Moha vitatim pashyata avijitatmana. My mind is not under my control, my senses are not in my control. And therefore I am desiring pleasure from wicked people. Kantat asataha. So Kanta means all these clients, so they are asat, they don't have satta. Satta is there or not? Says asata means no satta jati. So they are asata means they are wicked people. They are not good natured people, obviously. And I am expecting pleasure from them. So this is my foolishness. So trying to think that you will get oil from the sand. Something which is not there, how can you get it from there? If there is no water in the tap, how will you get water? So this is trying to expect happiness from these people. So kamam kandarpam kamaye yena kamena hetuna aham balisham mudha. So he says that I am desiring pleasure, and therefore that very idea that I will get happiness from them, this is my foolishness. So yahi sansparsh jab hoga dukhe yoni evate adyantavanta konte nanteshu ramte buddha. So intelligent people are not taking interest in them, and those who are taking interest in them, they are not intelligent. That is the conclusion. So that is what is called balish. So there is child and there is childishness. So there is a bala and balish. So we'll stop here. She is going to sing more slokas. If there is any question.
Babaji, here she's expecting pleasure from money, no? So what is the point of this asad kanta? I'm not getting.
Okay, money also coming from them.
So like that, but her pleasure is not of the person, no? So person may not have pleasure, but money has pleasure giving potency.
If person is not giving pleasure, what money can give pleasure? Money is just a dead matter. What pleasure is there in money? Veera Devi. She is speaking or not?
She's unmuted.
Veera. Okay. You are muted. Cannot hear. There's something wrong with your computer, Mohini.
I was also wondering if what is exactly Bhāgavatam wanting to say about her desire? Is she desiring the union with the man, or is she desiring Artha?
Both. Because one does not come without the other.
Okay.
She's not going to get the money without union. Okay.